Hello everybody, this is Tim W. Leathertachi 1996, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 4, I believe, of Godzilla Effects. And now, let me ask you all a question. Last week we had a sequel to the original with Mothra, Ghidorah, and Baragon in it. Well, now, how do you do a sequel? Now the next question, how do you do a sequel to the original with MECHA-GODZILLA in it? Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. There is only one answer to that, and that is Godzilla against MECHA-GODZILLA from 2002. Yes, the title on the DVD cover says against. And if you look here, MECHA-GODZILLA's new awesome design, he kind of looks on the poster, I haven't talked about the poster in a while. On the poster, he looks very Michael Bay Transformers-ish. Seriously, look at that poster. Look at his design. It looks very like Michael Bay Transformers-y kind of design. But this is like my number one favorite version of MECHA-GODZILLA. Truly. He has a really great backstory. He is created by humans again, just like he was in the Heisei era, but it's just... it's an upgrade. It's a huge upgrade. Now, it's just so funny how the title in Japanese, Godzilla X MECHA-GODZILLA, so what the heck does the X mean? I'm serious, what does X mean when they do the Millennium Era? I really don't get it. They did it for Megaguirus too, actually. Oh, yeah. I'm just confused by that. Yeah, this is, again, another direct sequel to 1954. Why do they keep doing that? Because last week, with GMK, Godzilla's heart was sticking out of the bottom of Tokyo Bay, saying that he was alive. Is this a follow-up? I have no idea. I don't think it's a follow-up, because they don't even mention GMK in this movie, so... yeah. Well, anyways... I'm sorry. Sorry about that, sorry, folks. Just trying to get my head together. Just trying to get my thoughts together. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm saying right now, I really did enjoy this Godzilla movie. Now, special effects-wise, well, before I say that, I literally just got done watching this movie, like, going on 40 minutes ago. And when it comes to special effects, this movie falls between Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. And what I mean by that is, some of the effects feel like they're as really, really good as Godzilla 2000, and then some other effects feel Heisei-ish, like Megaguirus. But the opening to the film, which is where this screenshot comes from, with our first screenshot here of Godzilla, and it's just so funny, like, this is the 2000s, this is the 2000 and Megaguirus design, with the same skin texture and all, but his face looks his teeth look a little different, and his back plates are a little different. Now, I am not sure if this is the same suit from 2000 in Megaguirus, they just redid it a little bit, or this is a totally new, freshly made suit for this movie. Now, this actually brings me to my first effects con with this movie is literally at the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Because before Godzilla shows up, there is this weatherman talking about how strong this typhoon is, and, before I finish my effects con, this shot here, oh my god, this shot is awesome. Look at the lightning, look at the lightning here, and it goes into Godzilla's dorsal plates here. And he looks up and he roars and it's raining. It's a great shot. This is literally right before the title, and Godzilla, the military shoots at him. Same old shit, but it's amazing. But it's still cool it's still really cool to watch. Now, anyways, back to what I was saying about my first effects con with this movie, and straight up, this movie gets a 10 out of 10 for me. this movie gets a 10 out of 10 because I only found 3 effects cons with this movie. Uh, which is like, wow, that's kind of which is a surprise. But anyways, like what I was saying about my first effects con, like a few seconds right before Godzilla shows up. Sorry, I almost burped. Behind this weatherman, the water that rises behind him, it looks a little too green screened. Like the shot by itself, it looks. I don't know. Like I said, the water was all. If I didn't say, the water was all CGI, and I don't know. It looked too green screened. The water in the background, it looked a little too green screen with the water. I don't know. It just didn't look right, in all honesty. But Godzilla walking through the town was really cool. And there's even this shot when Godzilla steps on this guy's house, and this one character running away even points out to the cop that's urging everybody to evacuate. He said, "That's my house," and his house gets stomped on. And here we go, actually. Now, this is an interesting shot. I have not, telling you this right now, I have not seen Mothra's debut film from 1961. I literally have never even seen that movie. I know, it's a shocker, me being a Toho fan, and I've never seen Mothra's very first movie. Never. I haven't got a chance to ever watch it. Haven't gotten a chance to find it on DVD, nowhere, nothing. And this is actually from a piece of stock footage that's throughout this movie, where they talk about where Godzilla says that Japan keeps being invaded by giant monsters, and there's a little scene from Mothra, and then they show a scene from War of the Gargantuas. Yeah, War of the Gargantuas, one of Toho's best films, in my opinion, and some other fans' opinions as well that I've seen on YouTube doing reviews of that movie. Yeah, and the stock footage for both films, it looks in very good quality. It's like Blu-ray quality stock footage. The definition is the quality is super good, but it was only in like a couple of flashback scenes. And now it's like that I'm looking at Mothra's debut appearance. I kind of like the larva's appearances alongside Godzilla more. In all honesty, I kind of like her designs in the Godzilla movies better, but that's just me. That's just me. Yeah, so there's just there are 2 shots of stock footage. It's kind of like, just a couple, like I said, just a couple of flashbacks. So, how you guys doing, Tim? How you doing? Oh, man. This here, you know what? Whatever I was explaining before the piece of stock footage, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'll be able to remember that again. Anyways, well, this is one of my favorite scenes. One of my favorite scenes out of this movie is, remember when I said that this was a direct sequel to 1954? Well, there's a couple of scenes when they were doing the monster flashback scenes that I was talking about earlier, that I was talking about a little bit ago. They show bits from the very, very first Godzilla movie, and they do this whole scene. Now, anybody who's seen the very first film, all you fans who've seen it, remember when Godzilla's being killed by the oxygen destroyer under the water, and yeah, they showed him under the water, but the shot was really blurry? It was actually really blurry. Well, in this movie, they go back to that scene, but they do it all CG. Like, there's a CG Godzilla in 1954 screaming under the water, and he turns into the skeleton. Yeah, they actually go back to that scene, which is cool, which is really cool. And here is the very first Godzilla. Here he is as a skeleton. Here's the skeleton right here. After like almost 50 years, here he is. Right here's the skeleton right here. And this is what they use to build MECHA-GODZILLA. No joke. This is literally, they take this skeleton and they put metal and wires and computer systems all over it. Yeah, so when you think about this movie, it's basically just like how Cinemassacre put it, it's basically the new Godzilla fighting the old one. Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy. But just seeing the skeleton is like, it's a huge nostalgia moment because it feels like that the original Godzilla made a cameo in the film. It kind of feels like that a little bit, even though it's only a skeleton. And here we got, and the prop. Well, before I talk about Mecha G here, the most badass Mecha Godzilla in the franchise here. I love with the Godzilla skeleton. I love how they have the prop. The prop looked great. It looked very super detailed. I love what they did with. I love, even though it's a prop and it just lays there, the detailing on it is really good. I do. I really enjoy the prop. Like I would want that as a desk decoration, like for real. And anyways, here we have the coolest Mechagodzilla of the franchise here, of the franchise as a whole. I mean, it looks mean. I love they give it the mean look, and like I said with, I want to say Space Godzilla. I am a huge movie robot fan. I love movie robots. In fact, I just got done watching the Sci-Fi Channel's film RoboCroc from 2013, and I love RoboCroc's design. Robots from movies, I just love them. And Mechagodzilla, and I call this one, I gotta meant to say this. I really do not like the name that they give it called Kiryu. I really don't like that name. It sounds too cute. It sounds way too cute. I'm not a fan of that name. And the fact that they call him Kiryu most of the time, and sometimes they'll call it Mechagodzilla. They'll actually say its real name, but Kiryu? It sounds too cute of a name. I'm not really a fan of it. And this actually brings me to my second effects con with the film, with this movie, where, before I talk about this, sorry, I thought I skipped over a screenshot. Sorry about that. One thing I am not a fan of when it comes to Mechagodzilla, is, well, to transport Mechagodzilla, they have to carry him. You have these two jets that look like F-22s, or not even F-22s, F something, I have no idea. But these future-looking jets called White Herons, and they carry Mechagodzilla with these cables. Now, I don't know why they do. I don't know why they do it. I really don't know why they have to carry Mechagodzilla, because it's revealed at the end, during the final battle, that Mechagodzilla has jets on the sides and he can fly. So, if Mechagodzilla can fly, why was he being carried for the first majority of this movie? And also, the cables carrying him were all CG. When they go into the sides of his neck, they were all CGI. It could have been better if they would have just used a practical cable for that instead of CGI, because I don't know, it just didn't look, it would have been better if the cables were practical effects. Oh yeah, that's my second effects con with this movie. Yeah, and this is actually the first time, and it's so funny, like, it takes 4 years for Mechagodzilla to be built, and Godzilla disappears for 4 years, and then he resurfaces and starts coming back to Japan. And of course, just like how Kaiju Movie Review said it, with Godzilla 1984, of course Godzilla comes in with intentions of, remodeling the place. So he destroys this playland park or whatever, and then they send in Mechagodzilla to go stop him. Yeah, kind of like the 90s, same old shit, but it's a huge effects upgrade, and it's really cool seeing the standoff. And there's one thing in this movie that they don't do, and I can't believe they don't do it, is between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, they don't have, like, the energy eclipse, like if Godzilla shoots his atomic breath and Mechagodzilla shoots the beam the energy from his mouth, and they meet in the middle. They don't do that in this movie. I'm kind of disappointed with that, because they did that with the 1974 film, then the 1993 film. It's just like, I can't believe they didn't do that in this movie. Anyway, this and it Godzilla, he's kind of a smartass in this movie. He really is, because when MECHA-GODZILLA shoots at him, or at the very beginning of this movie when tanks shoot at him, he literally just stands there. Godzilla literally stands there with his eyes locked on the enemy, and while he's getting shot at, he just stands there. Completely motionless, just stands there. But the masers, for some reason, mess Godzilla up. I guess because it's electricity, and Godzilla getting electrocuted. He don't like. I guess Godzilla don't like that. I guess Big G doesn't like the idea of getting electrocuted. So yeah, it's mainly it's a short fight. Like, it's MECHA-GODZILLA just shooting at Godzilla a couple of times, and then Godzilla does this thing where he does this roar, where he roars, and apparently that triggers something in MECHA-GODZILLA, where, because they said, like, because MECHA-GODZILLA, he has, like, there's DNA in him or something like that from the bones, and when Godzilla roars, he causes some genetic memory. It causes MECHA-GODZILLA to have this genetic memory and remember how it used to be Godzilla. And then MECHA-GODZILLA doesn't work. It gets, like, he just stands there like he's got a bug through a system or something or whatever, and then the humans are all wondering what's happening. And then right after that, after it remembers it's Godzilla, it starts destroying the city. While, like, right before this Godzilla gets away, he literally just slips back into the ocean, and MECHA-GODZILLA starts destroying the city. Literally, you see the guns on his wrists. He starts shooting the missiles on his back. He starts shooting them everywhere, and it's a great scene. That also is kind of a nostalgia moment, because it's like, this is the very, very first Godzilla under all that metal. So, under all that metal and wiring and DNA computer control systems or whatever, it's Godzilla under all that. So, when it starts acting like its old self, it's kind of a nostalgia moment, because you have to think, you have to remember, this is the original Godzilla here. So, it's like, when it destroys the city, it's like it's back again. Like, Godzilla's back. Like, the original Godzilla's back. It's a really great little. There's a cool scene where this shot here is cool. It's a really cool moment, and look at MECHA-GODZILLA's eyes. Now, if you paid attention to Mecha G's eye color, in the screenshot before this, they were yellow. Well, look at now, they're red. And this is, like I was saying, this is where he starts acting berserk, he starts going crazy, and then what's so cool is he starts walking through the smoke, and if you know, and I know I don't talk about the music so much, but the music, he walks to the heavy sounds of the music. Whenever you watch, I would recommend this movie mainly to diehard Godzilla fans. And if I hadn't said it already at the beginning of this video, this movie gets a 10 out of 10 score, like, truly. Yeah, and I love how MECHA-GODZILLA, when he walks to the beat of the song, walks to the music. It's really cool, because it makes him look evil. Well, until he runs out of power and his batteries die or something like that. It's just so weird. Like, the original Mecha G from 1974 and 1975 acted completely with AI, with artificial intelligence, and then you got the 1993 MECHA-GODZILLA it was on full power, and now you got this version, and it's saying, and they say he runs out of he runs out of juice, and then he shuts down after he runs out of power. So it's like, really, Mecha G has batteries? Really, Mecha G has batteries in this movie? Okay, okay. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, see, this is where he runs out of juice. And if you look to the right, you'll see this big hole in the building. Mecha G literally walks through the building. It's a really great piece of effects work, and the buildings, the miniature set here that was for Godzilla and Mecha G's first confrontation, and you got the thing here. I mean, like I was saying, the effects are right in between Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, and you can see by the miniature set surrounding Robo G here, some buildings they feel very Heisei-ish, and other buildings feel like 2000. Have like some buildings have really good detail on them, and then other buildings feel very Heisei-ish. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like this movie falls in between those two films, effects wise, and it's so. And in all honesty, seeing Mechagodzilla from by the sunset, I don't know, it just really looks cool. When he runs out of juice, it's just so weird. Like really, he runs out of juice. Like, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. Mechagodzilla has batteries. Now that I think about it, it's really funny to say. It really is. It's really funny to say that Mechagodzilla has batteries in this movie, and he runs out of juice. Mm. Oh my god, this is good. Mm. Sorry about that. I have my dinner sitting next to me here, and it's mac and cheese mixed with 2 cans of corn. So sorry about that. And this is out. Okay, yeah. That's all I had to say about the screenshot before this. I don't have much to say about this screenshot either. I mean, other than you know, this is underwater. This is towards the end of the movie before Godzilla makes it to Tokyo and starts causing a lot of destruction and starts blowing everything up. Killing military soldiers left and right. Not as insane as GMK, by no means, but it's still fun to watch with all the explosions. Oh, did I mention explosions? And you get to see on here. You get to see like the detail on Godzilla's face. It's not as very detailed as the suit from 2000 and Megaguirus. It's not as detailed as that suit. It feels, I don't know, it feels like less detail. It feels there's less detail on Godzilla's face than there was in Megaguirus and 2000. In all honesty, and GMK also. GMK, that suit had more detail than this. But yeah, I don't know. It just, the suit doesn't, I mean, from the neck down, it has a lot of detail, like 2000, but the face, it's not as detailed as, it's just not as detailed as, 2000 or Megaguirus. But anyways, I love this one thing. This is like in the ocean, and Godzilla, when he gets up, he does this angry look at the camera, which is like, they try to show a lot more, like with GMK in this movie, they try to show a lot of expression on Godzilla's face. Now, I'm going to get to the more expression part here in a bit, but the screenshot before this one, he does this really angry, very pissed off look at the camera, which is awesome, which is really cool. And then when he makes it to Tokyo, I love like his atomic breath is the dorsal fins. Originally, what's so crazy is in the Heisei era, Godzilla's backplates, when they would flash, they would make this very soft sound. They would kind of make noise, and then the Showa era, when Godzilla shot his atomic breath, they did not make any noise at all. But in this movie, they make this loud kind of booming noise when the dorsal plates flash, and they flash at random in different spots before they all glow. Now, last week I liked Godzilla's atomic breath because the edges were more softer. It had more softer edges, but this time though, in this movie, it's like Godzilla's dorsal plates, they just glow. Like there's no extra glow around the area of the dorsal plates. Like just the dorsal plates glow, which is interesting. And Godzilla's atomic breath, it looks Heisei-ish. It really does, with the very rough edges, with the very rough edges. But one thing I definitely got to give the guys who did the CGI for this credit for is like once again, it's the classic blue atomic breath, and I just so love like how vibrant the color is. Like the color is it's just like the shade of blue that they used is just so vibrant. It's a very vibrant blue. Like seriously, and the effect of him blowing up that little section of the city as he drags his atomic breath across the ground is really awesome. And this is during the fight with Godzilla and MECHA-GODZILLA and the final battle. And once again, Godzilla gets his ass handed to him. Oh my god, Godzilla gets his ass heavily handed to him in this movie, like he always does when he fights MECHA-GODZILLA. Every time he fights MECHA-GODZILLA, he always gets his ass beat, but this time there's no blood. Well, there's some, not a bunch, but there's like a little trickle of blood out of Godzilla. And MECHA-GODZILLA beats the living crap out of Godzilla. He walks up and he punches him, headbutts him, grabs him by the tail and spins him around and then actually throws him. Wow, when you see the final battle and then when you see Godzilla get his ass beat, it's like, oh shit, okay. Yeah, it's like you really start cheering for MECHA-GODZILla in this. You really start cheering for Mecha-G in this movie. And then Godzilla just gets back up and he tries to fight, but then MECHA-GODZILLA has just more tricks up his metal seams and in one trick up his seams, and then just starts blasting at Godzilla or beating the crap out of him. And there's one thing about MECHA-GODZILLA. There's an interesting weapon that Mecha-G has. It's called the Absolute Zero gun, and it's this thing in his chest that if it shoots at something, it freezes it, and then when he thumps his tail on the ground, the thing just crumbles. So then they figure, oh, that's how we'll kill Godzilla. We'll freeze him and then make him crumble so he's officially dead. So it's like, yeah, but every time they try to do it, it doesn't work. It does not work, and MECHA-GODZILLA and Godzilla, they just do this huge battle in Tokyo, buildings toppling, and both monsters beating the crap out of each other. And the final battle takes place during the entire night, and then what happens is right at the very end of the movie, right towards the very end here, which is where this screenshot is at. This is at the very, very end of the movie, and apparently MECHA-GODZILLA fires the Absolute Zero is shot underwater, and apparently it hits Godzilla's atomic breath or something, because this giant pillar of ice forms and out of the water, and I don't know, and then it cracks and blows up and explodes, ice going everywhere. I think that's from Absolute Zero mixed with Godzilla's atomic breath, I think. But the effect is really cool. It's so random, and yet it looks really cool at the same time. And this actually brings me to my third effects con. Like, before the big pillar of ice in the middle of the ocean, or in the middle of the water, when MECHA-GODZILLA grabs Godzilla and tries to take him out to the ocean, their tails don't move when they fly, which looks a little too animatronic puppetish. Because in the 90s, when Godzilla was being held in the air, his tail was moving the entire time. Now, in this movie, his tail does not move. his nor Mechagodzilla's tails were moving. So it made it a little too puppet-ish, which I was not. Which it just looked really. It just didn't look right. And Godzilla in this movie, he gets messed up. He actually gets injured as he walks away from. And both Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, they get really messed up in this movie. Like with Mechagodzilla, he loses an arm, and you see one of his arm stumps with all these big wires hanging down, and he just gets messed up. He gets torn up pretty badly, and Godzilla gets torn up too. Actually, he gets this giant gash mark on his chest, and it's not just a straight gash mark. It's this cut down the middle with other cuts coming off of it, and Godzilla's just. It's a tie. Like, this movie's a tie. Which is something that hardly ever happens in the Godzilla franchise. Both monsters, they get all messed up, and then Godzilla just walks away into the ocean because he knows he's beaten. Godzilla knew that, he's like, okay, I'm down. He was down. He realized he couldn't keep up fighting any. And it's just so funny how it's like, was that a digital double? I know this shot of Mechagodzilla was the suit, but is that the digital double of one of the human characters? Like, really? Is that a digital double, or was that was the actress green screened on there? I don't know. I don't know. And I know I don't talk about plot with this series so much, but like I said with GMK, sometimes you have to. When it comes to the humans, I love the human story with this movie, actually. I have to mention this because it's a great human. The human element in this film is amazing. I mean, the whole entire thing is about determination. Like, this whole movie is about, for the humans anyway, it's about determination and trying to fight to get away from your fears. And I really like that about this movie. Let me just get back to the poster here. Now, some of the Godzilla movies, they're not just, monsters beating the shit out of each other. There's actually some, philosophical stuff and some heartfelt meaning stuff to these films, There really is. And that's what makes the Godzilla franchise such a great thing to watch. And it's just, anyways, the human story in this movie, it's about a soldier who tries to get back on her feet after being blamed for getting her soldiers killed. Now, Godzilla killed all the soldiers, at the beginning of this and during the final fight, and they blame the main human protagonist, this very strong female lead, for it. So yeah, it's a great human story, amazing effects. Like I said, this movie gets a 10 out of 10 for me, in all honesty. And the Mechagodzilla suit, great design, great execution with the sound effects, and I so find it funny. But this is my last thing I gotta mention. There's a point where Mechagodzilla, during the final battle, the missile launchers on his shoulders, they sound like pew-pew guns. No joke. There's a literal point where the missile launchers on Mechagodzilla's shoulders, when they shoot at Godzilla during the final battle, you can hear like pew 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 pew. It's very faint, but you can hear it. It sounds like he's shooting pew pew guns at Godzilla. I'm sorry, I have to mention that because it's funny. Now, and recommendation, I would mainly recommend this to Godzilla fans or monster movie fans in general who want to get into Godzilla. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please, hit me up a like, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and go to all to get notified of my future videos. You know how it goes, folks. And also, please subscribe to my great buddy, Megas Dragon, because he made the logo at the beginning of this video, and also he's with me on the movie reviews library. So the link to Megas Dragon's channel and the movie reviews library will be in the description below. So I'm gonna say peace out, everybody, and we'll see you next week with the next Godzilla film in the Millennium Era. All right, have a good week, everybody.